Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the performance of the Strength Super Buu or Buu Super in the Some accident after his Extreme Z Awakening. Now my Buu Super has 2 dupes in him, and the usual disclaimer follows for the Some accident. The Some accident is an event that is best taken on by units that have guard, damage reduction, or a combination of 2 of these, or high levels of evasion. The Submax event is an event that starts off relatively easy but becomes progressively more difficult, with the first 2 rounds not being super difficult, but then the next round, the 3rd round, being intensely difficult. So with all that said and done, it's important to take note that it is a relatively tough kind of stage, and the Submax final stage is up there with one of the hardest stages in the game. It's one of the hardest bosses in the game, and it's why people like to see how units do in it. Now, Strength Super Buu also has the added situation of him being a unit that has 3 transformations. So Strength Super Buu has the Buuhan transformation, a form that gives him healing and guard mechanics, whilst also giving him stacking over a period of a couple turns. You then also have the Buu Kalo, or the Buu Absorbed Piccolo transformation. This one has defense damage reduction, as well as also providing support to the rest of the rotation. And then you have the Gotenks transformation, which is a transformation that thrives on the enemy being debuffed. Now the Gotenks one is most usable in SBR and ESBR, but the Buu Kalo and the Buuhan are the ones that people like the most. Buuhan traditionally is pretty good, and it's the one you're probably going to get the most in the Submax event. No matter what team you bring, generally speaking the first 2 phases are not enough to reduce a good team below the 80% health threshold, and so generally you will get the Buuhan transformation the most from this event. Now that's not to say anything, it's not to say that you essentially, how can I say, like can't get the Buu Kalo or you can't get the Buu tanks, but generally speaking Buuhan is going to be the one you get. Now beyond that, there's not too much else really to say. I think Buu does a great job. I think Transformation Boost is definitely a team that can complete this event. I've done it with them before. It requires a bit of luck where the supers go and things of such nature. There's 2 things you do need to do though. You do need to be careful, because Buu only transforms on the 5th turn, and so you need to slow down your attacks a little bit during the physical phases. You know, the transformation boost has quite a strong strength contingent, and so you need to make sure that you get to the Cell Max phase relatively close to the 5-turn mark. Whenever you don't, it does hinder you, and you are going to have a little bit of a bad time. Now beyond that as well, like I said, you're probably going to get the Buuhan transformation, and this is going to be something you're going to have to manage as well, because it can be quite difficult. The Buuhan transformation benefits from stacking over a period of a couple turns. Buuhan, traditionally speaking, is a unit that has guard, which is great, well, a great chance at guard I should say, which is great, but he really benefits from the fact that he stacks or greatly raises attacking defense for 3 turns. So when you get him to fire off super attacks and stay on rotation, that's really where he starts to shine. Now he does a good job. When his guard is active, he gets shredded. This is the case for a lot of units, so I don't want to, I'm not going to judge him based on this, not going to critique him based on this. Most units, when they don't have their guard active, especially in the Cell Max situation, they're not going to do very well. But when his guard is active, he does a great job. He tanks really well, he can do some good damage. He's a really, really reliable, solid option, I think, overall. I quite like him a lot. I think he benefits a lot. I think he's a good unit. You can see here, as a unit, good attack stats as well. Very, very solid attack stats. Going to do some good damage to good old Cell Max, which I think is very solid. And here no guard, so we take a ton of damage. And this is not surprising. Like I said, no guard activation means tons of damage, even though his raw defense can get pretty high. It doesn't really matter, because the thing is, raw defense is not enough in the Selmax event, traditionally speaking, unless your unit has like 800k raw defense, and even then they're probably still going to get aced by a super. So beyond that, we'll take a look at when his guard does activate, and obviously he fares much better. He looks far more impressive. It makes perfect sense, because obviously now he has his guard mechanic, and he's able to obviously control or take a lot less damage due to how guard works. So he starts to look very, very good in that instance. And like I said, he can be really solid when it comes to attack stats and attack numbers. So overall, I really do like him. I think Buuhan being the most common one is fine, because Buuhan, at least for me, is definitely the best of the transformations, especially for the Selmax events. So I think overall Buuhan is great. I think he can be very strong defensively, but only if that guard activates. His raw defense alone is good, but it's not really enough to take on the Selmax event. And you can see there, single digits now, his guard activates. 487k is not a lot at all. So yeah, you can see he tanks great with his guard active. So good stuff. That's going to be it for me, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.